Well, hello, my friends. I'm hanging out with my friend Nick Bohr from Waukesha County Courthouse. Look at that. Are you familiar with the Slenderman case? Let me get you up to speed. Because on May 31st, 2014, in Waukesha, Wisconsin, two 12-year-old girls, Anissa, may show you their pictures, may show you, Anissa and Morgan, lured their friend Peyton. I don't like to use her last name. That is just me. They lured their friend Peyton into a local area, a wooded area, and they stabbed her 19 times. She almost died. All right. Both of these overachievers, Morgan and Anissa, were sentenced. Weir received a sentence of 25 years to life, and Geyser was sentenced to 40 years to life. Anissa, as we spoke about on the show, was released in 2021 to live with her dad. But recently, Morgan is being released soon to go live in a group home, and she'll be under supervision until 2058. Could you imagine? They came up with this. They thought of this. All of these psychiatrists said, no, no, no. Now she's out. Now she's out, my friend. Look at little Peyton. Imagine how scared she is. Just think about that for a second. I watched the 2020 special when they spoke about how close the knife came to a very important artery around her heart. Well, look at this and you tell me what you think changed in a few months.
Year-old says the extensive mental health treatment she's received over the years has taught her to not be a danger to herself or to others, but the two doctors who testified today disagreed with her. It was nearly 10 years ago that 12-year-olds Morgan Geyser and Anissa Wire stabbed their middle school classmate nearly to death in Waukesha. They said it was to please the fictional character Slenderman.
State versus Morgan E. Geyser.
Geyser was sentenced to 40 years.
Nearly to death. They're having a little girls' party. Morgan, Anissa, Peyton. And they decide to please Slenderman, which is a fictional character. People play the games and stuff like that. I'm not into games. I'm pretty good at the game like Taboo, Clue. I used to be good at Trivial Pursuit, like the 80s version. But I wouldn't go stab somebody because of the game Taboo or anything like that.
Of mental institutional care, but says she's improved enough to be safely released. But doctors who examined her recently aren't so sure.
It's hard to predict without having a better understanding of that past history of violence. It's hard to predict the future.
Documents filed in the case indicate Geyser is no longer diagnosed with schizophrenia, rather PTSD and anxiety disorders. However, two doctors testified.
Can you get well from schizophrenia? I don't know. I am not the expert here. I really do need you all to weigh in on this and let me know. Okay? Is that something you can just recover from? They tried to kill the girl. Anissa, I think, was a follower. Morgan, from all the court documents, trials, so on and so forth, shows that she orchestrated everything. Now, Morgan wants to counsel other people with substance abuse. I don't get that because she didn't use substances. There she is currently. And now she's a man. I don't understand. Someone needs to help me here. If Peyton, here's Peyton right here. If Peyton was your daughter who was viciously attacked by these two, would you feel safe with a couple of doctors saying, oh, Morgan was schizophrenic, but now she's not. She just has PTSD. Now Morgan's a man. So we're going to let her out. Anyone? Get ready for this.
They're concerned with Geyser's recent exams.
We have issues with being able to reliably trust her own self-appraisal.
We've learned Geyser now says she made up many of the delusions she claimed to be having in the years following the Slenderman attack because she didn't want to return home, she says, because of abuse at the hands of her father.
The conundrum occurred in the fall of 2022 when Ms. Geyser told her treating psychiatrist that she had never heretofore suffered from psychotic symptoms, but rather that she was faking those.
Both doctors.
So no doctor knew that when she was 12 years old, she was faking psychotic symptoms. That in itself, my friends, is a problem. She said she didn't want to return home to her dad. Okay, so what has happened with her father? Please let me know, because I have looked and looked and looked, and I don't see that he has been in any sort of trouble in relation to how he dealt with his daughter. And I do hope it's not anything horrible. I am not a professional at all. No. But I want to know how she just suddenly is not schizophrenic anymore. She's not homicidal anymore. She just has PTSD. Do you think Peyton doesn't have PTSD? Peyton, with this horrible attack on her, is thriving. I don't get it. Now, this is where they say, okay, this is from WISN ABC. This is where they say Morgan is not fit to be in society, but they changed their mind. My question is, why?
Doctors say Geyser isn't ready for release.
It's my opinion, to a reasonable degree of professional certainty, that she currently presents a significant risk of bodily harm to herself or others if conditionally released. When pressed to estimate number of months, I would estimate 6 to 12 months. I know she's not ready now.
So, Nick, how many doctors in all examine her? We know this hearing on her conditional release continues tomorrow.
Right, 3 examined her and all 2 testified today. Again, you heard them both say they didn't think she should be released. But the 3rd doctor we expect to hear from tomorrow, he was suggested by Geyser's attorney, Tony Cotton. So he may, in fact, have a different opinion. We will, of course, be here tomorrow and tell you what happens.
Follow up on that. Nick Bohr reporting live in Waukesha. Thank you. And Geyser's partner in the Slenderman stabbing, Anissa Weier, was granted her conditional release in 2021.
Her conditional release, she lives with her daddy. She might have to check in here and there. But now, the main person, Morgan Geyser, has been allowed, and this is from Fox 6 in Milwaukee. She is now out and about. She's in a group home. She, I don't know the right terminology. She is now a man. She's a man. That's what they say. I don't know. I don't know her. She at one point had very homicidal tendencies, and it had to do with Slenderman. Okay? I understand she was 12 at the time, and they say she's schizophrenic, but she healed from that. Is there such a thing? I don't know. But their whole lives, Peyton, Morgan, Anissa, where they're at right now has to do with this fantasy about Slenderman. The question is, do you think she should have been released?
Will soon be released from a psychiatric hospital.
Geyser stabbed a classmate 19 times to please a fictional character, Slenderman, more than a decade ago. Waukesha County reporter Brett Lemoyne is live with how the judge came to today's decision. Brett?
Yeah, Judge Michael Boren heard testimony all day today. Even the prosecution's one and only witness was in favor of conditional release. In his decision, Boren said that conditional release would not, quote, pose a threat to either the public or Geyser.
The court's going to grant the release. I'm satisfied.
With that, Morgan Geyser will soon be able to leave the Winnebago Mental Health Institute and transition into a group home.
Have you seen any signs of violence by Morgan?
No.
Hold on one second. Hold on one second. That chick looks like Ziggy. I seriously thought that was Ziggy for a second. But this is a doctor saying that Morgan hasn't shown any signs of violence. Is that okay for you? If Peyton was your daughter, would you be okay with these two being out, conditional or not? Again, you're the judge and jury around here.
By Morgan?
No.
Same three doctors who evaluated Geyser last year returned to Waukesha County Court Thursday with a different outcome.
There's a unanimous support for Ms. Geyser's petition for conditional release at this juncture.
In 2024, two of them testified Geyser wasn't ready to move into a group home. Now they call her a bright young woman who's no longer a danger. Doctors say Geyser no longer hears voices and has been off antipsychotic medications for years. Therapists say Geyser was sexually abused as a child. They believe Geyser has essentially outgrown treatment at Winnebago.
She'd like to ultimately become a therapist working with people with substance use disorders.
Geyser now identifies as a transgender man. Last May, a doctor diagnosed Geyser with autism spectrum disorder.
Now, hold on. How many things can be wrong with Morgan? Okay, she identifies as a transgender man. She's not hearing voices anymore. She quit taking antipsychotics. If you have antipsychotics, there's a reason for them. And let's not forget, at the ripe old age of 12, what she orchestrated in her head to please this dude, Slenderman. Now, how, with all of this therapy, medication, and the whole 9 yards, did she become a transgender male and decide she's going to help people with substance abuse problems? Hey, rock on. I hope she does. But the pain and the torture she caused Peyton and their family, I have a hard time with this one. I do.
Doctors say neither of those things impact Geyser's mental health recovery. Geyser was previously diagnosed with schizophrenia.
A group home will provide a structure, but a bit more privileges so she can gradually reintegrate into society.
Correct.
In 2014, when Geyser was just 12 years old, she stabbed a classmate 19 times. Prosecutors said Geyser and a friend did it to please the fictional character known as Slenderman. Prosecutors argued Geyser remains a threat to the public to this very day.
It certainly is unusual that someone who is schizophrenic is taken off of antipsychotic medication and any such psychotic symptoms disappear.
And prosecutors say the victim's family was against conditional release. A hearing will be scheduled.
Okay, so the prosecutor is saying basically the same thing as myself and OJ. If you are schizophrenic, How are you taken off of antipsychotic medications and you no longer are answering to Slenderman? And now you're ready to go to a group home, and the victim's family, Peyton's family, is 100% against this. Again, on this channel, you guys are the judge, you're the jury. You tell me what you think and why this decision was made. Because I am beyond perplexed.
Scheduled within the next 60 days to determine a conditional release plan, which involves a treatment plan and also a group home location in this state. We should also point out that Anissa Wire, the other woman who was convicted or was responsible for this case, she was granted conditional release in 2021. Reporting live in Waukesha, Brett Lemoyne, Fox 6 News.
The question is, what are the conditions? Don't stab anybody again? Take the medication that you were taken off of? I don't know. I seriously do not know. I mean, if you were Peyton's family, what would you think? And don't twist it and say, oh yeah, Brooke's the same because now she's transsexual. No, I don't know how she made her mind up about that since she's been on all these antipsychotics all this time. And suddenly now she doesn't have schizophrenia. Now she just has PTSD. PTSD from what? Being in the mental hospital? I don't know. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. I have no problem being chewed out or being wrong. You guys are the absolute best. Mwah.